What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Lunch with the Clydesdale. It is lunchtime. It is my favorite time of the day. I get to hang out with my friends and talk about the world of sports and entertainment, and specifically CrossFit. So good to see you all. What's up, Corey? Meredith saying good morning. Holly, best stats and information person in the business. Trained Olive, it's lunchtime. It is. It's lunchtime. Trying to find something in my email, and I'm having a hard time with that for some reason. Anyway, I wanted to share what CrossFit sent out. There it is. Okay. So, let's throw a dart. I haven't done that in a while. Here we go. Oh, goodness. I thought it was there, and then the tip dipped right at the, so about 3 inches low. Hate when the tip dips, man. Oh, it was right there. It was going, and it right at the very end. Draw your dagger. Are you going to WFP? I am not. I am focusing on the Masters and Teens CrossFit Games here in Columbus. And then WFP is the next week. I can't take, after the games and that, take another week off within that time frame. So yeah, I just can't get out there this time. Plus, I don't think I'm number one on their fanboy list right now after what's been going on the last few months. And what's crazy is I've only criticized their content. I have not criticized anything else about them, but they take everything so hard and come at me so hard after that. Anyway, I digress. We're going to talk about it more as that kind of approaches. We'll cover it just like we cover everything else. But anyway, I'm in a riffy kind of mood today. So we're going to look at some things where I have been asked questions, challenged in comments, and we're going to talk about those a little bit. It's going to be a fun day. But anyway, I wanted to show everybody this new CrossFit campaign, marketing campaign, whatever you want to call it. But it is called CrossFit is the Cure. And I wanted to show, like, as part of the media, I got an email from them, and I'm going to share it because there's nothing really major in here, right? So in here, they talk about all the stuff that they're doing, that they're launching this campaign, and they want everybody, especially us, to spread the word. And they're giving us all the assets that they have available to put out there. So if you saw yesterday on my Instagram, I posted the one video. A lot of other people from the media world have done the same. So essentially, they have a link, and I will stop sharing and show you what the link goes to. It goes to a Google Drive. So here we are on Google, and here's the social media guide. So here's all the social media stuff that they're posting. They're giving to the media to download and for us to be able to post it as well. If I go back, F the quick fix, here are the videos in 3 different formats to be able to share on different social media avenues. So not only do I think it's a great campaign, but I love the way that they're sharing the information with the media for them to be able to share it out. They're not acting like this is mine and mine alone and, try to copy and paste or screen grab or whatever. They sent all this to the media and gave them access to all the assets, and we can post them at will to our social medias. Social medias, that sounds weird. To our social media accounts, and be able to share this message. And what's great about this message is it's about that you can't substitute the hard work. You can't substitute what it takes to become healthy. You have to put in the work, and that CrossFit is the cure. There are no shortcuts. It's really, we hate to break it to you, there are no shortcuts, right? It's all about the hard work. It's all about getting that message out that there is no quick pill. There is no quick fix. It is all about putting in the work, and that CrossFit can be the cure for the world's most vexing problem. And I've talked about it for a couple weeks, that in the last few months, CrossFit has gone back to what their definition of who they are, and that they are now pointing at their North Star more. And because of this, we have seen an uptick in the popularity of the sport and what is coming to be. And that's why the games, I felt this year, had a vibe like they haven't had in 5 or 6 years. Coordinated communication, what a lovely concept. They should make some t-shirts using the slogan. They should, and I'm sure they will. They've rebranded all of their marketing to that old school Forging Elite Fitness, Pukey the Clown, routine is the enemy, all those things. So it would not surprise me that they are going to make these into shirts as well, because it's getting back to, you got to put in the work. Jose got those too. Helps add it to the gym page. Right. Yeah. If you're building up a social media presence or a website, now you have these assets to put on your website to kind of pump people up. Love the campaign. Finally, we got a Rosie View photography sighting. Jess is in the building. God, I miss her. Some of the most fun times at events were with her and Jamie, and the giggle fest that would take place. But she's busy creating a human being right now, and I can't wait to see what happens there. Alito, not to be a party pooper, but did you see Hiller's reel? Is it true Will and Jackson could be the potential new owners? I do not know, Lito. I just saw that myself. I have not been able to reach out to Hiller yet. I'll reach out to him probably after the show, and then maybe we can discuss more tomorrow when Corey's on. But I'll reach out and find out how true the rumor is and how much I can say. But we'll see. Jess, I miss you too. Scott's only been asking for this for about 3 years. Yeah, just communicate. Have like real press releases. That's what this is. This is what professional organizations do. They create a press release to give to the press, to give to the media, to send out their message. And because you're controlling the message, you now send out something important and valuable for your company. Yes, yes, and yes. So anyway, I wanted to share with you how it was sent to us and how they have changed the way they've been doing things. So yeah, really excited about that. On a side note, one thing that's been killing me is, I live here in Columbus. the 7K run was announced, I am getting DMs from Masters athletes asking me what the terrain is like for the 7K run, what the path looks like. So I'm going to tell all of you here, if you're a Masters athlete, it is a downtown walking, running path. It is very urban. That means it's paved, I believe, the entire way. It is paved the entire way, and it's pretty flat. If there might be a slight uphill grade out with a slight downhill grade back, but man, Columbus is flat. There just is not any. There's no. I grew up in Western Pennsylvania in the Appalachian Mountains. There are no hills or mountains here in Ohio. So yes, it's very flat, a very easy run. Brett is telling all of his opponents, very hilly, wear trail running shoes, very muddy. Yeah. We want a level playing field. Level playing field. All right. We're going to get into some pettiness now. I thought this was going to be over. The real question is, what are the temperatures like? Dude, the temperature could be anything. The saying here in Ohio is, if you don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes and it'll change. Right now it has been moderately warm, no rain, and dry. So that is what it's been for a week or so. Ooh, people are here for the petty. Okay. Yes, just an easy 7K. No problem at all. Okay, so if most of you have been following the story, Hiller made a video about me and Lauren Khalil a few weeks back. Lauren and I have had a discussion since then. We talked it all out. But she has been on shows, and the topic goes to that she said she had enhanced access and really didn't, and that she couldn't read. She goes to Sylvan Learning Center, and that she wasn't able to read her email that said she just had regular access. And that's fine. If that's her story, that's fine. But what's missing in all that is that my original statement was that karma finally came around because people were not treating each other with respect and dignity. And listen, you can come at me all you want, and I'm pretty laid back about it. I don't get upset. I don't say what you will about me. I'm all good. Mess with my family, we got a problem. And what happened was Lauren messed with my family. She messed with Cheryl. She messed with Jamie. She made them think that she had more access than we did. There was a shove involved. There was stuff like that to get interviews at the semifinals in 2023, I believe, 2023. So that was my karma thing. My karma thing was that finally the people that have been rude to others didn't get the access, and we finally did. And dang it, that point has been lost over the fact that she said that she couldn't read her email, and now everybody's forgiving her. So anyway, I'm going to share a screen because normally I would not share these comments with you all live on a podcast, but they went in a direction that I just didn't like. So I was listening to In the Box Office, the two girls on Thursday night on Be Friendly, and they were talking about how it's all over and Lauren actually did get some content and blah, blah, blah. And so what I did is I simply wrote a comment, and it's right here in the middle. Here we go. So I said about the Lauren video Hiller did was more than did she read the email correctly. Lauren was still extremely rude and mean to the female members of my team. She made them feel less than her and portrayed a story that she was entitled to more because the company she was with. And then I said, that is more icky than any Hiller video because they were dogging Hiller for the video. Then Caitlin comes in and says, quick question. Do you think what someone like Dent's does publicly to thousands of people is any different? One, this story had nothing to do with Jenny from Dent's Updates. So where Caitlin's going is I do not understand. So I said to her, Caitlin, I'm just pointing out that the original issue was me saying the people finally got karma with credentials at the games. I did not mention names, others did. But now we are forgiving Lauren because she couldn't read. Her reading is not why I said what I said, was all I was pointing out. Just a major misdirection from the original story as someone who has scratched and clawed for everything for 6 years and been treated very poorly at times. I felt like there was finally a time for karma. Then Mesa jumps in and says, feel like this avoided the question hard. Where I responded, I felt like the question was diverting me away from the original point. And then Mesa called me a politician. Where I came back and said, the question wasn't relevant to the original story. Jenny has never been mean or rude to me or my team. Lauren was, and I was just setting the record straight. So I don't understand why, when you're arguing about a point, we have to bring in other people into this story that have nothing to do with it and change the argument to something else. Jenny has been nothing but kind to me and my team. Why do I need to get into a fight about Jenny? That's not what this was about. This was about someone being rude to the female members of my team and getting access above what I had when we had the same accesses. That's all it was about. And they're trying to bring in Hiller and Jenny and all these other people about what's going on to divert you away from the original story of what happened. This was about Lauren and others being rude to my team. Not Jenny. Linda, don't mess with Scott's team. Love it. Honestly, like, come at me all you want. I can take it. Don't mess with my family. The Clydesdale Army will not stand for that. So, anyway. And they're trying to justify their original point. I think you're right, Train Olive. It sucks. All I said originally was karma finally bit people in the ass where it needed to. That was it. And now they're trying to bring this into everybody else in space that they don't get along with. I just hate it. Jess was in Orlando when this all began. And I don't know if she wants to jump in, but Lauren was rude to Cheryl and Jamie, and where did Lauren say she couldn't read? She said it on the Talking Elite Fitness podcast. She said it on the podcast with Caitlin and Mesa that she misread her email, thought she had enhanced access when she didn't. And that's what everything got diverted to, and not the original issue. Does anyone actually watch that show? I guess besides you. I tried out of boredom and just couldn't do it. So I don't know what their numbers are. I try to give everybody a chance. I think everybody deserves a voice. If you listen to my first 10 shows, they are probably god awful. But I didn't have any viewers back then. I had like 10 people. I had like 10 people watching back then. So I got to experience all of this stuff organically in a slow pace where I could get better at what I did before people actually saw me. They jumped on to Be Friendly Fitness, which is great for them, but you're going to have more eyes on you right off the bat. And you've got to get better pretty fast. So I've been giving them, I don't listen to every episode. I listen to them periodically, because if they get better, maybe they bring something to the table that I'm missing with other podcasts. CrossFit Mesa said, CrossFitters don't do 1 rep maxes. I'm out. Yeah. They say things that I don't necessarily agree with, but that's okay. It's okay to not agree with things. I'm just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt as they're growing and maybe getting better. But when you're coming at me, or that you're missing the original point, I had to defend my people. So, has Be Friendly grown or lost followers? I don't really track the numbers. When I first started doing podcasts, this podcast, I was so obsessed with the numbers. Now I don't even pay attention to them. Kate Solid, Mesa gives me neophyte, know it all, and then says, I program, I know this. I wish they would give more facts behind their opinions. But they're entitled to their opinion. I just wish it had more fact-based behind it. And we'll see. I give them credit. The live chat while they're on has people just there hating on them. Again, I'm trying to give them a chance. I've gone back and listened to probably 2/3 of their stuff. Not everything I like, but is out there, but I try to listen to it to get differing perspectives, differing opinions, that just make my overall take on things more complete and gives me fodder for like how I would argue that point, things like that. So that's why I listen to different stuff. Jake at the Base Show. Question: out of an average hour of live media content, how many minutes are actually dedicated to the actual CrossFit and affiliate, away from political nonsense and games chat? Probably not enough. But when you do this daily, you have to come up with things that pique an interest in people in the chat to bring back with more comments. That's what this show is. This is a hangout show. This is just I'm a moderator of a hangout where I just bring up topics and we just banter back and forth. And that's how I kind of view this show. There we go. Draw Your Dagger. I took like a 6 to 9 month break from all things CrossFit media. Coming back into has been interesting. Yeah, you took a weird 6 to 9 months off. Probably the craziest 6 to 9 months in my history of doing content. Jamie and Carolyn are great on Sunday shows. They are. They're just great overall. They're great human beings. I think I'm in that, Jake. I think we probably do more games talk than anything else. But like I led the show off with the new marketing campaign and how CrossFit was great at communicating that, delivering assets. But I'm probably way more games talk than I am affiliate talk for sure. I agree. Everyone should get out of their echo chambers. And it makes me uncomfortable. Probably, it does make me uncomfortable to go listen to other people's with different opinions. But they have the right to convince me otherwise of my opinion. This is why people talk about what people talk about while doing their back squat sets at the beginning of a class. I think that's dead on, Jenny. Dead on. I think that's what I'm trying to do here. This is a hangout show when you're sitting around the rig and you're doing your lifts and you're talking to your buddies. That's what I'm trying to accomplish with this show. It's just really wild trying to come up with topics every day to do that. So I miss seeing Kat. It says Train Olive. I do too. But Kat's got bigger things in her life going on right now. And I'll let her tell those stories. But she's got a lot going on, and she's not out off of our team by any stretch. When she's ready to come back, she'll come back. But she's got bigger things in her life right now that she has to take care of rather than talk on a microphone. David Johnson, I spend most of my time trash talking and trying to get people to do some sort of nonsense with me. Yeah. Jake, we all have a place in the space. I was asking for research purposes. I think what happens is that the numbers impact what we do. And it's really hard to stay true to what you want to be when you see like the numbers go up when you talk about different things. It's really, really hard. That's why I try to ignore the numbers. The numbers have just been insane over the last month and a half for me since Hiller put out that video. Like we have gone up nearly 600 subscribers. We have doubled watch time. It's just been a crazy 6 weeks. And I'm just trying to hone in on what is important to me. And I saw Rosie say, or Jess say, that she made a comment about what we talked about in Orlando. I did feel like, though, like we weren't good enough to be out there, but everyone in media deserves to have access. We are all trying to do the same job. Right. All right. This is when I'm warming up kind of show. There you go, Jay Birch. I miss Kat's dating show. I do too. I thought it was great. I thought she did a great job with that, but now she's not dating. So I don't know where she goes with that. So we'll see where she goes with that anyway. There's a mud chucking element to those box ladies. It comes both ways, but the vibe was sort of set by their first episode. I don't disagree. And like I said, I try to watch because again, thank God nobody's listening to my first 10 episodes. And I only had like my mom listening and Amy's dad listening. We were terrible. We were terrible in our first 10 episodes, but we did it in silence because nobody was watching. And it allowed us to get better before people saw us. Keeping it real. I like their podcast because it's fun to get angry and argue. I don't mind them. I just disagree with everything they say. Well, and it gives you fodder for your channel. Very true. My profession is a coach, and my priority is just that. I get to host a show where I get to speak to people about affiliates. It's an insane opportunity. Many are bored, but that's okay. Right. And I love that you stay true to that. So many people are tempted by other stuff. Trained Olive, we need Kat's relationship show next. There you go. I have to say, Lauren Khalil does some stellar interviews quite often. Sometimes journalists develop slightly nasty elbows. Here's my thing. And that is that Lauren and I were at Morning Chalk Up at the same time. Lauren and I were both treated very poorly while we were at the Morning Chalk Up at that moment. We became very good friends. What's been disappointing to me is as she got more popular and then got with Talking Elite Fitness, then she started doing the same types of things that we were complaining about at Morning Chalk Up. That's why it probably hits me harder than others, because we had this common misery that we bonded over. And then as she got better, she kind of forgot about having to clear that hurdle herself. And that's what's been disappointing. And I told her that. I've told her all of this in a DM directly to her. I'm missing something here. What are your thoughts on media people covering athletes that they didn't get credentials for? Yeah, I need more information. Covering them inside the ropes or covering them outside the ropes? I will say Lauren was straight hustling on the street corner, literally. She was. Every time I walked past her, she was interviewing somebody. And she was completely outside the venue, in between the two buildings, just nailing interview after interview. Scott, I didn't know you were at MCU. It was such a short amount of time, Jonathan, that most people don't. I've shown clips from it from my time there. Kat and I were both there. We made an offer to LaFranco to take over their bottom line show and their YouTube channel. And that's why and then I don't know, I've talked about it a lot of times. It just didn't go well. And then I made it to the games that year with them. They lost a bunch of my interviews, and then I just quit and started my own company. Um, wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip ahead anyway. So that's that. The other thing is, I got a lot of comments about talking about Sprague getting screwed yesterday, and that it's an invitational and they can invite whoever they want. I said yesterday it was an invitational, and Tier could invite whoever they want. But again, this is a talk show where we just hang out, shoot the shit. And so I just presented the idea that James actually has a better resume than the other members of that team. He has a better resume than Hopper, Pepper, and Medeiros right now in the last 2 years. Better finishes, more wins. It's insane. But I know that Tier can invite whoever they want. I get that fact. But it doesn't make for a good talk show. Isn't this similar to Rogue, though? They can invite who they want. I get that. I totally get it. I get they can do that. But that does not make for good, like, talk show material. If I'm stacking up resumes right now, James is in the lead of the people in the North American region. That's all I'm saying. But I get that they can invite whoever they want. If they don't want James on the team, they don't have to invite him. That is their prerogative. It is their event. It is their show. I get all that. But I'm just saying, stacking resumes, James should have been the number one pick. So, Mullo, it's more than Pat. James has a better resume than Hopper and Pepper. James has finished higher than Dallin Pepper in the last 2 games, and he won Wodapalooza. And he took second at WFP, if you want to count that. Team North America is going to get spanked. I'm not happy about it. I don't even think we have the final for Team North America because I don't think Alex is going to compete. She needs to rest up that leg and get it healed for the final tour stop of WFP, and they want her ready for next season. So there's that. I think Alex is going to withdraw from this event. Alexis, if her back is healed, will probably do it, but I think Alex will. And maybe Alexis too. You might be right, CrossFit. All right. I did want to talk about Dave's Week in Review real quick. I thought there were a couple good points. Someone brought up that the Masters got no promotion at the Elite CrossFit Games, and I thought that that was a big miss on CrossFit's part. You have plenty of airtime. You have millions of viewers. It would have been really a cool synergy to have the age group and adaptive athletes featured in some kind of way in promoting their upcoming events. I think that was a big miss. If I'm going to give them all the kudos for the other stuff the media team has been doing, that has been a huge miss. Huge miss. I thought it was interesting that he saw the Wells sisters at the airport and Will Morad, and then just kind of glossed over it. Said he saw Sydney and Brooke and Will at the airport, and then glossed right over that and kept moving. I thought that was an interesting mention. He did say the 30 size field was pretty right on. Don't write it in the book yet, but probably going to be here to stay. I will tell you that the programming of the Masters CrossFit Games, I went into a meeting yesterday for an hour. I came out, and Carolyn and Jamie, there were 48 messages on my phone back and forth about their thoughts on what's been released for the Masters programming and how crazy that is. I don't know. I don't know if that programming for the Masters Games is going to find the fittest. I think they look at it as their event. They want to program it like they would like. And I don't think that they are programming it to find the fittest on earth, and that there are people that take this very seriously and want to win. The two women on my show on Sunday night don't want to just show up. They're there to win. And it means a lot to them. Masters programming is all fairly quick workouts in a similar time domain. That is right. That is right. Chris, we talked about this briefly, that I don't know anything about that at this point. I'm going to look into it a little bit more. Our e-masters programming, I agree, Megan. Yes, it is. There are people there that want to win. There are people there that are ultra competitive, and they deserve to get that chance as the best in the world. There are also people there that are happy to be there. We shouldn't be programming for the people happy to be there. We, just like everything else in CrossFit, you program for the best and then you scale for the rest. This should be to find the fittest on earth in each age group. Shanna, some masters athletes work just as hard as the elites. Amen, sister. Age group CrossFit Games should have its own social. I think it's bizarre that all of the events are released on Legends and not on the CrossFit Games site. Yes, you let somebody else take over, but it doesn't mean that it's not a part of the CrossFit Games. And the further we're getting away from that split, the more it appears that HQ is looking at that as no longer part of the games. It is the age group CrossFit Games. It is just as elite as the elite for each age group that they represent. Age group CrossFit Games should have its own IG page. Legends trying to do both of their comps on the page is confusing. I've heard that too. There were workouts out there for the qualifier and workouts out there for the games. It is very, very confusing. We're going to get into a lot more detail, Shanna, about the programming. I will tell you that my co-hosts believe that no woman being involved in the programming is a big miss, and that these are written for men and they are scaled improperly for the women. They also believe that the programming at the higher levels, the 60, 65, 70 plus, are very, very skewed in a bad and poor direction. And so they would like to see more done there. And probably more will be changed by the time we get there. But that's a little bit weird as well. Shanna, I offered to test for them this year. They declined. Very obvious no proper testing was done. Programming gets diluted due to the number of athletes, but if you criticize it, you're being negative and not grateful for the opportunity. Also, I didn't know this was the Bob and Joe games. How about the portion of the Sunday show is them tweaking the workouts to what they think they should be? I will bring that up to them, but I don't want to put them in that position, knowing they have to compete in a week after Sunday at the games that they just criticized. I hope that makes sense. They will be adding 100 meters to the runs. Again, I am not a programming expert. I leave it up to the women I hang out with. They seem to know much more than I do. But yeah. Well, anyway, we have lots to talk about the rest of the week. We were just getting started on the comments section. We're just getting started on all the other stuff. I wrote a note that I don't even understand from Dave's Week in Review, so I'll have to go check that out. But guys, I got to get back to work. You guys need to get back to work as well. So with that, come on, knuckleheads, get back to work. I will see you all tomorrow with Corey for lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.